if someone were to come up to me and say, hey, Greg, I've got a good job. I've got a little bit of money saved up. What should I do? How should I invest? Here's what I'd say. You're doing the things right. You're out there working every day. You've got a little bit saved up. Perfect. Way to go. Especially if you're kind of growing in that savings to about $20,000 to $40,000, man. You're heading in the right direction, kind of getting your lifestyle stabilized a little bit and putting that money away. But a lot of people don't consider real estate as an investment alternative for what they normally hear out there in the media, right? Put $50 aside in a 401k and all those kind of, put your IRA, all those kind of things, get your Roth set up, all that. You should consider that. At least get some education behind it, right? Because you're not behind, you're not unsure or scared. You just need some clarity. You need a little bit of education, and you're doing the right things right. You just need to point that energy in a direction and aim that thing, right? And start your investing track. That's what you need to do. Most people at this stage in life don't even consider real estate, but I want to give you a few reasons on why you should. It's not complicated. It's not even that hard, right? It just takes a little bit of work and a little bit of knowledge. But listen, one thing you have to consider about real estate, instead of just thinking that, hey, I'm just going to put money in my 401k or my savings account or, all those kind of methods, but let's think about some of the things about real estate that make it unique. Generates income, it provides tax deductions, right? It's something you can kind of influence, right? You can improve it and you can guide it and manage it and be a little bit more active in it and kind of manage your outcome. And so all those things make real estate a really good long-term wealth strategy. In fact, it's one of those few assets that I've found that you can build and accumulate that wealth using somebody else's money, whether the banks or the tenants or both, and then set yourself up revenue streams or income streams for future in life so that you don't have to actually spend the asset to live. You actually generate income off of that asset. So that's why I found that real estate investing is really the right way to go. And a lot of people get stuck in the whole thought that real estate investing is just not for me. Right? Maybe I don't have enough money, maybe I don't have enough experience, maybe I don't have enough time. When I got started, I didn't have a great paying job. I had a good job, a solid job, a good government job. Okay, I did, but I didn't have a great paying job. It wasn't like I was in the .com era, or rolling high on Wall Street. It wasn't anything like that. But hey, look, it did take a little bit of time. I had to learn, I had to do all those kind of things, but it became very achievable. And you don't have to have a ton of money to get started. You just have to have clarity. You have clarity and a little bit of education and a little bit of confidence to get started to make a big difference in your real estate investing journey. Most people we work with, they have a good job, they have purpose, they have a why, and then we just help them put that into action and get started. And they don't have to do anything crazy. You don't have to go out and buy a 400-unit apartment building on your first deal, but you do have to act intentionally. You have to take action and do something. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, but you got to take the step, and that's the most important part. So when people ask me, where would I start? I kind of think about those initial steps, and I say, well, hey, look, take a little bit of step back here just a minute and say, hey, what works for me? What works for my lifestyle? What works for my ability to commit time and money and resources to? And then really kind of set out a plan for, hey, here's how I want to move forward and create a little business plan for my own life. We don't start a business without a business plan. Why would you run your life without a business plan? Inside that plan could be things like, hey, what is my risk tolerance? What type of product do I want to do? Do I really favor kind of commercial as I get to learn a little bit more? Do I like the idea of commercial? Do I like the idea of single family? Kind of what speaks to me? What do I really like to do? And where geographically, all those elements kind of go into your plan. What kind of time do I have? Do I have kids that I'm chasing around to soccer games every weekend, or do I have a little extra free time? What does that look like? All that has to kind of work into your plan. But once you put your plan together, then go take action. Sometimes I sense a little hesitation with my clients and they're a little unsure about taking that first step. And I would tell you, hey, look, that is totally normal. Okay. In fact, if you're not a little bit scared, you're probably not thinking about this the right way. You need to just evaluate the risk. This is not just wide open, guns a-blazing, woohoo, okay, ride the roller coaster, put your hands up. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a methodical process, very analytical, think through the situation and then make measured steps throughout the process, not just going crazy like I did and do something really crazy. So just take the step It's okay to be a little bit unsure. That's normal. Everybody gets scared about doing something the very, very first time. For me, I went guns a-blazing, and I don't recommend that to anybody. And so after I got my first taste of what it felt like to buy real estate, in fact, this month, 30 years ago, I bought my very, very first property. And by the time I rounded the corner of the year, I'd bought like 30 or 50 of them. It was like crazy. And so all doing the no money down deals and all that kind of craziness. I was reading books all over the place and just trying everything I read about. And no mentor, just kind of wide open. And didn't go so well at first, and almost went bust, but pulled it back in, settled into a plan, developed a process for myself, and then the next 28 years, I just kind of worked through the same kind of process over and over and over every time I bought a piece of real estate. And that seemed to turn out pretty well, much better than just woo. So, the question you should ask is not, hey, should I go into real estate? The real question is, what kind of real estate investing can I do that'll fit into what I'm already doing in my lifestyle? What does that look like to you? And how does that benefit myself and my family as time goes on a long horizon, 20-year horizon? What does that look like? Set your sights way out there on the horizon. And what can I do to start today to set myself up for a better future tomorrow? That's the question. And we want to help you answer the question with this quiz we put together. We put this thing together to help you kind of sit there and analyze yourself and think about, hey, where you are in life, what your goals are, what you're trying to accomplish. So reach out and take this quiz and just kind of do some self-introspection. Get a plan together and start your journey today. At this point in your real estate journey, I wouldn't try to figure everything out. I just try to figure out a plan and just understand, is this a path that I'm willing to step into, and will this path take my life on a better trajectory? One of the reasons why we put this quiz together is actually to kind of start you on your journey and not only getting you think about whether, hey, this is the path I want to go to, but also start you on your journey to get some clarity so that you can understand what real estate investing is all about, to understand if it is for you, and then to gain some confidence by doing some practice and walking through the curriculum and all that we've developed for you guys, that you can get some practice, analyze some deals, and then really get that confidence that when you actually go and make those offers, that you feel really solid about them, and then lead you to your first investment property. What does that look like? Or if you've already invested before, how do I make a good solid investment on my next one, and avoid some pitfalls that are out there that you might trip into, and then later scale and grow that into a nice sizable portfolio that'll take your family and make a big difference for those you love. So now let's start with a small step, easy step. Go take this quiz. It'll only take just a couple minutes. Go take it and see if real estate investing is for you.